This is restorative yoga for highly sensitive women because I am one. And I wanted to create this class specifically for us to have a retreat away from the sensory input of the world, the overstimulation, the taking on of other people's emotions and burdens. This is a space to lay it all down and to come back home to that peaceful state within. So let's get started in child's pose. You're going to need a bolster, 3 blankets, something to cover your eyes like a washcloth or eye pillow, and a block. So we're going to bring the block and the bolster in and place the block at a somewhat low height at the back of the bolster, just to create a little mini ramp. And then you can take, this is optional, extra blankets on top of this bolster, especially toward the lower part, to bring it up to you, so that when you are lying down, you feel completely supported all the way from your heart to your abdomen. Finally, you might find it helpful to roll up a blanket and place that underneath your ankles, especially if you notice that there's any tenderness there for you in your ankles when you're resting with the feet down for a longer period of time. So bringing yourself close in toward the bolster, lower down, and take your left cheek to the bolster first. Let your arms come forward, elbows are soft, and let them touch down onto the floor with the palms down. As you touch into the bolster and the props with your body, make any last adjustments here so that you feel even more comfortable, more willing to be received and held by the support of the props. You can give over the density of your body to the earth and start to make that transition from doing to being. Now focus all your attention on your right nostril. And imagine as if you could breathe in and out from just the right nostril. Feeling the breath flow slowly in and out the right nostril, the right lung. Seeing if there are any sensations that are stirred up by breathing into the right side of your body. Release the attention on the right side and slowly lift your head and slide your right cheek to the bolster, laying your head back down. Bring full attention into the left nostril now. Breathing in and out of the left nostril, the left lung. And noticing if there's any sensations associated with breathing in and out of this side. Just get curious. Breathing in and out slowly through the left side of the body. Release the tension on the left side. Slowly turn your head back to center, lifting your chest. Walk your hands back in toward you, breathing in and out of both nostrils as you lift up to a seat. Place your hands onto the floor and walk your knees back into a table position. And keeping the props where they are, if they're not in your way, extend your right leg back, tucking the toes under. And just let any sense of aliveness or energy awaken that right knee joint, especially after we had it closed for so long. Let's do the same thing to the left side. Breathing in and out of both nostrils, staying present to any sensations you're noticing that are here because you're taking time to rest. Let that knee drop down, and let's come away from the blanket that was underneath you and just fold that off to the side if you had it. We'll move the block out from underneath the bolster, keeping it in front. If you were using this rectangle fold blanket, open it up one time and let's create a long rolled blanket for the ankles. Taking the long side of a blanket that's about the width of your mat, roll it up. You can find detailed instructions about blanket folds in my Restorative Yoga book. Place that behind you. And then let's take that another blanket and fold it into a square fold. It's about the size or width of your torso, and you're going to drape that off the right edge of the bolster diagonally. The last blanket, we're going to fold it from the square fold into a double square fold, so just a very thick blanket, and place that in front with a little bit of space between bolster and blanket. As we move into a supported half frog position, you'll hook your ankles over top of the blanket behind you, walk your hands forward, lift your right knee up and to the side, and rest the groin area on the edge of the bolster and the blanket. As the spine and the front body comes down onto the bolster, you'll stretch the arms forward, and your head will meet the blanket in front of you. So you may need to roll it up a little bit more, create a little bit more height there, so that there's no strain in your neck. Ensure that you're not leaning over to the left or to the right. You feel like you're right in the center of your bolster, and your leg is relaxed, your right knee and your right foot off to the side. Anywhere the knee feels comfortable, take it there. With your nose free to breathe, relaxing the forehead onto the blanket, open up your arms either to a wide goalpost shape or more of a stretching forward shape if that feels comfortable. And then give your full body weight over to the floor. Just relax, let go, and be received. If there are any lingering worries, stories, concerns that are floating about the mind, just let them pass on by like clouds across the sky, fading away and dissolving. And remain as the sky itself that's capable of holding everything within it and remaining untouched by it. I'll give us some time to rest here in silence. Very slowly transition your arms back in toward your sides. Use your breath. Push into the floor, lifting backward, sliding the right knee back, that leg goes long. Move your blanket over to the left side of the bolster. Come back forward as we transition into the second side. Left knee goes out to the side. Relax the abdomen down. Rest your forehead on the blanket. And loosen your arms into the floor. Continue to allow all things to be as they are. All sensations, all thoughts, all emotions. Let yourself rest and be supported by the earth. You don't need to be the one holding, fixing, or changing anything right now. Be received by earthly support, a vast stability beneath you, and openness above you. Allow yourself to really let go and relax just for right now. Again, transition out slowly, pulling your hands in, pressing yourself up and back, sliding the left leg long. Step off of the blanket roll underneath your ankles and come down to a seat for a brief moment. As we transition into supported reclining bound angle, we'll move some of these props around. So taking one of our blankets over to the right, unrolling the blanket we used for our feet, setting that over to the left. The blanket that was used for your forehead, let's keep that in the double square fold shape. Flatten it out, place it at the back of the mat. You could choose to add your block here to make a small bolster ramp, or keep the bolster flat, just depending on how it feels for your back. We'll be using an eye covering here, so keep that nearby. And then turn around with your back to the bolster. And let's roll these blankets so we can support our thighs. Opening them up as wide as the mat, take the short side and roll it up until you have a thick rolled blanket. We'll place one on the right and one on the left. And these will go underneath the shins and the upper thigh areas. That way the knees are high, the groins are relaxed, and you can place these right underneath the calves and the upper thighs, and then just let the legs relax out and open. Feet are quite far away from the abdomen so that there's a lot of space here, a lot of relaxation. Now lower back when you're ready, and let your head touch onto the blanket. Ensure that your elbows and your forearms touch into the floor, and if not, you might add extra support underneath the forearms. And finally, if you're choosing to use the eye covering, let's place that over the eyes now. Do one final check-in in supported reclining bound angle, ensuring there's no tension in the legs, pelvis, back, neck, or arms. If this feels a bit vulnerable or too opening for you energetically, you could place a blanket over top of your whole body now. Feel the breath moving in both nostrils as you slow down the inhale, and moving out both nostrils as you slow down the exhale. Sense that you're bringing an evenness to the breath. The inhale and the exhale are equal in length, equal in softness, and the breath feels smooth. Smooth as if you were pouring oil. Sense that smooth quality in the breath. Ease your way into this simple breathing practice, trusting that your body will find its way in its own time. There's no goal with this breath. Let it feel like a sweet song to yourself, a soothing melody. that lulls you into deeper rest. Relaxing all attention on your breath. Letting the breath return to an effortless pace. Make gentle movements here to awaken and stretch through the arms. Bringing the hands toward the thighs. Use the arms to help the thighs up and in, closing at the knees and planting the feet flat. Remove the eye covering if you used it. And press yourself slowly, chin in, to a seat. We'll transition into our final position, which is side-lying relaxation pose. So taking our props out from this bolster ramp, we won't need the block. Well, we will need the block, but we're going to take the block in front of us and tilt it on the side and create that similar bolster ramp here. Sitting on your left hip, you would want this to be in front of you. So just in front of you off the side of your mat. We'll find the blanket that you used for your head a moment ago and place that double square fold here, followed by another double square fold. If you are on a hard surface, you may want additional padding underneath you, so you could take an additional blanket and place it underneath your hips. And then finally, that third blanket, we'll keep it into a rectangle shape that looks a lot like a bolster and place that in between the knees and the ankles. Let your legs come down at these 45-degree angles, like a lightning bolt shape, and then lower down onto your left shoulder, sliding your hand through that gap you just created with the bolster ramp. Pull the blankets in so that your head is relaxed, and then pull the bolster ramp toward you so you can rest your top arm on it. It feels like a gentle little hug. You can bring that in as close as you need to make that happen, so that there's a lot of comfort and ease in the arms. Make any last adjustments so that you feel like your shoulders and your hips are relaxed. Lying here on your left side, close the eyes. Invite yourself to stay here for as long as you like. I will keep time, but know that you can continue to rest here, cocooning yourself in relaxation and feeling that those sensations of rest and relaxation don't exist outside of yourself. They are here now. Stay present to feelings of well-being, of release, of peace. Make space for those in your heart, just as you make space for so many others. Finding a balance here of joy and peace, knowing that this can exist here too. You could choose to stay here for longer if you like. But if now is the time to end this practice, then invite yourself into a little bit of movement. Movement through breath, through arms. Move the bolster away from you so you can push into your palms, rising up sideways, nice and slow. Arriving in a seated position. Taking the hands together at the heart. Honoring this time we spent together and all the realized beings who have brought the knowledge of yoga to us. May you remember who you really are at your center, especially when you get caught up in everyone else's stuff. You're not broken and you don't need to be fixed. You just need to remember who you really are. Release your hands, let the eyes open. I sincerely hope this practice was helpful for you. It certainly was for me. I have lots more restorative yoga practices just like this on my channel and on CarenBaginski.com, my website. I would love to practice with you live. We have a community called Held, which is for those who identify as feminine, with longer classes and more intimate discussions one-on-one. I look forward to relaxing again with you sometime soon.